In this video, you'll see how to track and manage product usage with AWS Service Catalog. With this custom licensing solution provided by Amazon, you can monitor the consumption of AWS products, limit access to products by end users, and prevent cost overruns on Amazon Web Services. The solution you're about to see demonstrates license enforcement for a set of private Amazon Simple Storage Service, or Amazon S3, buckets. Once you are familiar with how this example solution works, you can edit the sample AWS CloudFormation template for use with products in your organization. This blog post contains details on how this solution is implemented, along with a link to the CloudFormation template. To get started, let's scroll down to the template. Download the template file and extract it to a folder on your computer. Next, let's navigate to the S3 Management Console and create a new S3 bucket to host this content. It's recommended that you name the bucket with the prefix shown here, followed by a dash and then your AWS account number. Now let's upload the solution code to this bucket. After the upload is finished, locate the CloudFormation setup file and copy the object URL, which you'll need when creating the stack. Now we can create the stack for this example solution. Paste the URL for the setup file. Next, enter a name for this stack. Next, provide the name of the bucket we created earlier so that the setup file can locate the rest of the files needed to deploy this solution. You can also specify an initial user account to grant portfolio access to. In this case, let's grant access to admin. Proceed through the rest of the configuration without making changes. Acknowledge the terms and then create the stack. The solution is now deploying. After a minute, you can refresh the page and verify the deployment was successful. Next, let's switch to the Outputs tab to find the product ID, which will be needed when we configure the product parameters. Scroll down and copy the value of the S3 private bucket product that was deployed to AWS Service Catalog as part of this example solution. Now let's navigate to AWS Service Catalog, where we're signed in as an administrator to provision a new product. Here is the license management setup product we deployed. Let's provision it and see how it works. This product can be used to create and configure a second AWS Service Catalog product for end users, which they can use to create private S3 buckets. As these buckets are created, the consumption of the buckets is tracked in a database. Let's give this product a name. Next, let's specify the parameters for this product. First, paste the product ID for the S3 private bucket product we copied earlier. Next, specify the email address of this product owner. This address will receive notifications from the service as licenses are consumed. Give this product a name. You can specify a threshold where the service notifies you. In this case, let's say we want to be notified when 50% of the S3 bucket licenses have been consumed. You can also specify a usage percentage upon which the product is disabled and no longer visible in AWS Service Catalog to end users. In this case, let's specify 90%. Finally, you can specify the total number of licenses this product will be able to create. For demonstration purposes, let's configure this product to allow the creation of up to 4 private S3 buckets. Review the product settings and then click Launch. Once the status at the top of the page has changed to Available, the product has been deployed. Next, let's switch to the role of an end user who is navigating to AWS Service Catalog to provision a new private S3 bucket. The user sees the private bucket product and clicks it to begin the provisioning process. First, they specify a name for the product. In this case, the name is License 1. They also must name the bucket. If your product template includes tag values for use in auditing and budgeting, the user can select them here. In this case, let's move on. Optionally, the user can choose to stream product notifications to an Amazon Simple Notification Service, Amazon SNS topic. Again, let's move on. Just like that, the user can launch the private bucket. Scroll down to find the link to the S3 bucket that was just created. To guarantee uniqueness, a GUID string was appended to the bucket name chosen by the user. Now let's fast forward to when 3 of the 4 licenses have been consumed and see what happens when the last one is used. Still in the user role, let's return to AWS Service Catalog and quickly create a 4th private S3 bucket. Now that this bucket has been created, let's navigate back to the products list. Notice that the private bucket product is no longer visible because all the licenses have been consumed. This prevents additional buckets from being created until the cloud engineering team increases the number of licenses available, or the end user terminates an instance of the Service Catalog product. By using this method, an organization can manage product usage and avoid unanticipated service expenditures. Let's switch back to the administrator role one last time and return to AWS Service Catalog. Let's look at the product screen. From here, an admin can edit a private bucket product that has been deployed. For instance, the admin can increase or decrease the number of available licenses the product is allowed to consume. Switching to the admin's email, we can see examples of the notifications the admin may receive. Notifications can include status reports on the current usage of a product. They can also call out when license usage exceeds the defined threshold, or when the product has been disassociated with the portfolio and is no longer available to end users. Now that you're familiar with this example solution for managing licenses for Service Catalog products using private S3 buckets, you can download the solution code and edit it to define your own AWS Service Catalog products that require license enforcement. You've just seen how to track and manage product usage with AWS Service Catalog. Thanks for watching. Now it's your turn to try.